What's going on, everyone? So it's 8:30 in the morning at my parents' house. Got here last night. Probably can't see it, but the truck's back there, so I'm gonna see if I can't get that engine pulled today. It's set the 5.3 in. Won't do any wiring today because I don't have the harness or anything, but just today alone I want to get that engine pulled out and hopefully set the 5.3 in. Some of these 350s came with 4-bolt mains. I'm really hoping I luck out and I get a 4-bolt main. I don't have super high hopes. I think most of them came with the 3/4 tons, but this is the extended cab 4-wheel drive half-ton. I got my fingers crossed that it's a 4-bolt main, but if not, no big deal, I'll just sell it. So I'm gonna pull this truck back there and we're gonna yank the truck forward because it does not move. It's done. So I'm gonna hook up to it, set you guys up, and watch. Oh, that cold idle. So you see, my parents kind of got a lot going on back here. That's the Tahoe. That thing it's been a good car. I think they bought it with like 20,000 on it. Now it's got 270 or something. But my dad and I have been spitballing the idea of building a motor for it, but that's later on. My brother's car, he's in Paris right now. So if you're watching this, bud, how's it going? And here's the 98. See, I can pull the engine right here, but there's no way to move the cherry picker. So we're gonna pull the truck forward, pick the engine up, and then pull the truck backwards again to get it out, and vice versa to put the 5.3 in. Gosh. Sounds good. Alright, so we got the hood off. Make things a little easier. Last time I was here I started tearing the engine apart just to make it quicker. I think pretty much everything electrically is disconnected. Try and disconnect it down there, that way I can just fold it over. So we get the cherry picker out, disconnect the motor mounts, exhaust, and the bell housing bolts. Pull this thing out. You see, it's pretty dirty. And it's been sitting, so it's resting now. But hopefully, like I said, it's a 4-bolt main. Take it to a machine shop, have them clean it up, bore it over, clear it for a 400 crank, and maybe make a 383 for my fiance's 65 Chevy pickup. But once again, that's another project, another date. But today we got this going on. I've gotten everything disconnected, I believe. Got the bell housing bolts taken off the back. Got the motor mount bolts slid out. Torque converter bolts. All the accessories off, but I think I had them all off earlier. Just the power steering. So, hook a chain up to it and see if it comes out. Okay, so the engine is out, and I realized I made a miscalculation. The bolts on the back of the 350 are standard. The ones on the 5.3 are metric. So at best, it'll just sit in here on the motor mounts. But I guess it's not a big deal. That's really all I could do today anyway. The exhaust does not look like it's kind of made up. I heard that it would. The passenger side, I think, will, because it's got that like donut deal that goes in between it. It's flared. That side's flared too, but on the 5.3, it's more of a flat gasket kind of a deal. So, might need custom work done. I'm not sure. I'll see if there's an exhaust for this engine swap or something to make it easy. Bolt-on is preferred, but not always the case. So right now, before I put the 5.3 in, there's a couple things we gotta do. I gotta get these alignment pins out, then measure how far this flex plate sticks out compared to this one. Hopefully, you know, they're within, you know, 1/8 of an inch. If they're pretty damn close, it's okay. There's a little bit of play in the freaking torque converter, but we'll see. So for the motor mounts, these are 1-inch setback plates from eBay. They're countersunk, so these are flat back here. You know, the motor mount won't touch back there, but so these three right here are where the factory 350 motor mounts are gonna adapt to. The thing, oh, here they are. So, but the back of these are the clamshell ones that come on almost all 350s. There's a hump on the back, so you got to grind that flat, and then, you know, bolt it on, and it should be ready to go. It should fit about the same because I have no idea where I put them, but these had like plates in between them for like a brace to the transmission. Not sure why, but same thickness as those plates, so I think it's all going to work out pretty good. I might have to take the exhaust manifolds off, which kind of sucks because I already torqued them down. The gaskets are no good after that, but gaskets are cheap, I guess. We'll see. So I'm going to try and set this thing down somewhere. The problem I'm having is these don't roll very well on dirt, so see if I can angle my truck in here and set that in the bed of it, get the 5.3 out, and try and drop her in. Just got done painting them, grinding them first, obviously. I mean, they're not exactly flat, but pretty damn close. Good enough for me. I not at all, or do not care at all, what the back of these look like, because it's going towards the engine anyway. So let's stick those on. And this is going to be kind of a pain, trying to push this thing forward and turn it with no power steering. And my dad's gone. No one to help, but we'll make it happen. So let's put these on, see how they fit. Hopefully they fit without having to take the manifolds off. I don't want to, but I'm prepared to take them off. Oh well. You win some, you lose some. So once again, my GoPro died, and I failed to bring a backup battery. So we're on my phone again, and we ran into our first problem. Motor mount. It's right there on the block. So we're at the clearance the block a little bit. Luckily, we don't need that for anything. We'll just take a little bit off the grinder, and she'll be fine. The other side fits very well. What am I doing? So it didn't really feel real to me until just now putting these on. Now it's like really sinking in. This thing is about to sit in there on its own. It's pretty exciting. It's almost time. Got the 350 back here, all dirty. I'm excited to get it home and tear it apart, see what the inside looks like, and hopefully it's a 4-bolt main. But one thing at a time, let's get the 5.3 in there. So this is as far as we've made it. It kind of sucks because this isn't concrete, obviously, which would make it a hell of a lot easier because we just push this to it. But with this weight on it, this will not move. So we're pushing the truck, and well, the brakes are locked up. Not locked up, but you know, they've been pressed, so they're grabbing. So we're fighting that. We're gonna try and push it with the Tahoe. The Tahoe actually has a bad bumper anyway, because my parents have a slanted driveway, and my dad's truck slid down and hit that when it snowed I think it was last year actually. They don't drive it much, not anymore. But anyway, we're gonna get the keys for the Tahoe and see if we can push it. Yep, I was right. I had to take the manifolds off, but I think I lucked out. They look like they have a little bit left to go, so I could probably use them again on this. But this is where I'm at. It's getting close. I think we might have actually pushed the truck forward a little too far, which kind of sucks. But I'm hoping that in the backswing of this thing going down, it gives me enough room. I'm gonna try and set you guys up so you can watch me finagle with this. Looking good. So I'm having the same problem I had with my 6.0. Now that the transmission is not supported by the engine, it's just on its cross member, it's drooping forward. So I gotta get a jack and jack it up so these will meet up better, because these are pretty damn close to sitting down. You can't really see, but the transmission's got a long ways to go. So I gotta bring the transmission up a bit before this can made up and sit down completely. So I'm gonna go grab a jack. Alright, so it's sitting in here on its own. I got the bolts through, but even with the 1-inch setback plates, it doesn't seem like the transmission has made it up all the way. So I'm gonna check and make sure nothing's binding, or holding it up, stop it from going through. And if not, then I'm gonna loosen the mounts on the transmission and wiggle it, see if it'll come forward at all. This is kind of exciting, it's sitting here on its own. Well, it took a little finagling, but we're there. I don't, like I said earlier, I don't have the bolts for the bell housing, but I think once we get those, we'll suck it up and she'll be good to go. So I am very happy with how things went. This went a lot more smoothly than I thought they would, because usually that's just how things work out for me anyway. But it's in there. It's made it out of the transmission. Just needs to be bolted down that way. The motor mounts, like I said, are hooked up. So now we got to get the brackets for the air conditioner, because I want to retain air conditioning. The power steering, which I have from the 6.0 when I bought it. I kept everything. Alternator, I'll have to buy one. The one that came in the 6-liter is shot. It's all rusted out. You could hear the bearings grinding, but usually it's a core charge, I guess. And then the water pump I kept, and I don't have gaskets, otherwise I'd put it on right now. But yeah, we're waiting for that. I kept the excuse me. I kept the factory wiring. I guess there's two ways to do this. I guess there's a way to use the factory computer, have them flash it for the 5.3 and redo the wiring to fit this guy. That I am not at all interested in. I'm gonna buy the standalone harness, but I know you need to keep the factory computer to run like the speedometer and the ABS. So until I know what I need and don't need, I just left it. And then once I know what I need and don't need, then I'm gonna cut everything out so it looks a lot cleaner. And you can tell my brother like to go mudding. So once this is done, I think, aside from going to the dump will probably be the first trip. And then the car wash will be second, because this is pretty dirty. It's kind of funny. Not that this thing is really shiny, it just makes it look shiny. Way to go, Seth. So as you can see, I'm pretty dirty, but engine's in. I pushed the truck back to where it's been sitting, at my parents' house. So to recap, take off everything on the top end of the 5.7, which I did a couple months ago, which I didn't film, obviously. But that's just boring stuff. That's easy. Take it all off. So you're just, the block is just sitting there. There's no wires hooked to it. There's no exhaust on it. Nothing like that. Hook up to it. Take out the bolts that hold the transmission to the engine. Take it out. The 5.3 uses those same clamshell motor mounts with the adapters. The adapters I bought were 1-inch setback. They make adjustable ones. Well, they make ones that are 0 setback, 1 inch forward, 1 inch back. I got the inch back because this engine, I guess, is shorter, or the motor mounts are in different spots. I'm not sure, but you need at least 1 inch back. I think Dirty Dingo makes some that are adjustable, that slide. So, like in my case, I loosen the transmission up, and I'm going to get the bolts for the bell housing to kind of snug it up, because it's got about like a 1/2 inch gap, which isn't much, but it'll suck it together. But with the ones that adjust, or slide, it'd make it easier. Everything would fit, factory, which is going to fit factory, but it make things a lot easier. So, and on the back of those clamshells, there's that hump I showed you. You got to grind that off, and once that's all on, and set it in there, it's good to go. So next, we'll have the wiring harness and the front end accessories of the 5.3, which I believe I'm going to get the Dirty Dingo, or there's another company on eBay that makes them. So I'm going to find those. I'm excited the engine got put in. It went a lot more smoothly than I thought it would. because things just usually don't work out the way I planned, but maybe that's just because I used to suck. But I feel like things have been going better, which I've been learning a lot. Hopefully you guys learned something from my mistakes and from watching, but I mean, I pulled that engine and put the 5.3 in one day. Granted, I didn't take the top end off of the 5.7 today. I did that earlier, which you could do. I'm sure you could do that also in the same day. I mean, I did it in the dirt too, so I couldn't roll the cherry picker around, which sucked, but I made it work with a little help. I mean, I'm not gonna say I did it by myself. I had my dad help me and my mom help me push the trucks. Like I said, the brakes are kind of not seized, but they're grabbing. So we did that. But I mean, I did it right here in the dirt. You can definitely do this. It's not hard. So don't think it's too bad, Chewy. As far as this video goes, I believe that is it. Next video probably won't be about this because my parents live about 2 hours away from me in Northern California. So stay tuned for more, and I'll see you guys next time.